And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to A Bookish Moment. I'm Sarah Burr.
I am J.C. Kenney, and I tell you what, we have a fantastic, fun show. It's a triple threat, three guests today for you folks. So, Sarah, I think it's time to get bookish.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of bookishness today because not only are we joined by three incredible authors, but we are
Hmm.
joined by the admins of the Cozy Mystery Village Facebook group, which is a huge community of both readers and writers that come together that share their love of cozies. And I remember it was one of the very first Facebook groups I joined back when I was first like searching the world of cozy mystery and figuring out like how the heck am I supposed to be doing this. So it's really exciting to be able to sit down with you guys and chat with you today. So welcome, ladies, to the show.
Cute.
Thank you.
And before we dive in talking about the Cozy Mystery Village itself, I'm hoping that we can learn a little bit more about you guys individually. So if you wouldn't mind going and introducing yourselves, we'll start with our founder first. If you Ileana, if you could just tell us a little bit about your background, the books that you write, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how you got this idea to create this amazing Facebook community a little bit later. So just talk about yourself for a minute.
People always laugh when I actually tell you how I started. I reinvented myself in 2020 when I got stuck in Paris during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I wanted to start writing. I had always liked the idea, but I didn't know how to start. And I basically retired and found that the cozy genre was what I enjoyed the most. I didn't have to worry about all the gore or the profanity or any of that stuff. So I wrote my first book there, A Fashionable Fate, Rosa the Cuban Psychic. And I know you're going to go into it a little bit, but that's how the Cozy Mystery Village actually started also. It was in 2020. I have written a children's book. I've co-authored with Sharon Michaels. I have several series out there right now. We have the Hawthorne Corner, and we are writing one book a month. So the series is going to have 12 books.
Mm.
We've each done two. She's got a book that's now releasing at the end of this month, which is later this week. And then I've got the one in April, and then she continues and so forth and so on. So I'm constantly writing. I finally got an agent, so which I'm very happy about.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
yes, and I'm working on that, and hopefully that'll be picked up by a publisher.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, Ileana, if you all excuse me, I'm going to go take a nap. Listening to how busy you all are just kind of wears me out there. But in all seriousness, that's just fantastic to hear. Brenda, how about you? You're new to the show, so give us the scoop.
Yes, I am. And I want to tell my appreciation for what you're doing by giving us this chance to be on your show and talk about the village. But first, a little bit about myself. I actually published my first book in 2015 when indie publishing was still way under the radar. And that was a children's middle grade series. It's sort of a cozy mystery too, actually, when I look back at it. And then I started published my first cozy under a pen name in 2021, I believe it was. So I have a ongoing in both of those areas, and I am just so grateful that indie publishing has finally gotten its due.
Mhm.
Because I think, well, now Ileana has an agent, so maybe she'll change, but I think I'll be indie forever.
I love to hear the love of indie because that's where I started myself. And back in 2017 when it was still kind of like a taboo subject that you didn't really talk about. And I'm just, again, so grateful that communities like Cozy Mystery Village have welcomed indie authors in such a in such a kind way and elevated those voices. So I think that that's something that we can attribute to social media and the groups that are out there that have created that welcoming environment. So thank you. And then, of course, last but not least, we have Kathleen Cobb, who is here. Kathleen, you have visited us before, but remind our viewers what you write and maybe what brought you to the Cozy Mystery Village.
Anchor mom, not in that order. I am a weekday suburban mom, weekend night independent with New York, and whenever I have 5 minutes at a flat service for laptop. And in 2020, I was making my tripod debut, and we all know what was happening in 2020, in April of 2020. And I suddenly had, I suddenly had to book a plane in the air and go from what was supposed to be a signing at a bookstore on pub day to a drink in the basement. And in the middle of all that, Ileana reached out to me and asked if I would like to join Cozy Mystery Village. And she was my lifeline. Honestly, the Village and Ileana were my lifeline in the middle of the lockdown debut and everything. And I can't thank her enough, because she truly did save me from both as providing a supportive place to talk about my work and promote my work, but also as a friend and a supportive writer friend. She just absolutely saved me. So there you go.
Oh, I love to hear it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that time was a strange time for us all, because, and Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, we had the whole reason why our show existed was because of the COVID stuff, because we had books coming out. We're like, it would be so nice if we could celebrate together, and the only way we could think to do it was through a video call. And so what is the saying about necessity breeds invention? Is that it?
The mother of
Necessity is
invention.
the mother of invention.
Yes. So it's we need, as writers, despite this being a very isolating activity that we do, we need that community. So Ileana, if you could tell us what, you mentioned that you were stuck in Paris, which, oh gosh, sounds horrific. What was the idea of coming up with a Facebook group? Because that's not something that, at least I feel like anybody who is on social media does lightly. Like, what was the catalyst that was like, you know what, this is my plan?
So when I was trying to figure out what type of writing I wanted to do, I started to search online and realized that there really wasn't an actual group in Facebook that encompassed everything that I was looking for. Well, the first thing is I realized that our readers are mostly in Facebook. So then I thought, okay, well, I don't know anything about the writing. I need an editor, possibly a publisher if I can get one, a book cover designer, and so forth and so on. And I decided, because I couldn't find one, I just created the group. And I thought, okay, so I want to make it where it's a one-stop shop for everybody, whether you're a reader, a blogger, a YouTuber, a formatter, an author, whatever. And that's how I started. At first, I wrote to all of my friends. I said, please join, so I could start having people, because I was afraid that if I reached out to well-known authors, they would kind of look at me in my group and say, oh, now I'm not going to join. And so they obviously did. And then I created a script, and I wrote out to everybody that I could find online. I started doing a lot of research. If I found you on Amazon, I would look for you on Facebook, and then I would send you a message. And it was always with the link and explaining the whole concept of the group. And I was lucky enough that people like Kathleen actually joined from the very beginning. And it's been great. So we have, like I said, we have authors and writers and bloggers and editors and publishers and formatters. A lot of the people don't actually comment, but they're there and they're active. We have almost 7,000 members.
Wow.
So,
that just, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kathleen.
Just saying, talking with the experts that I am, it is a lot of eyeballs. If you want eyeballs, come to us.
yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that as a cozy mystery author, I am a user, for lack of a better term, or a better term is member of a number of these groups, and they are fantastic groups, and they're super easy for me, because I just pop in and I can comment and stuff like that, and then I can go on my own merry way. But it can't be that easy behind the scenes. So I was wondering, Ileana, you're the queen mother here, but we have our princesses here also. So Brenda, Kathleen, could maybe both of you kind of give us a little I guess, kind of elevator pitch-esque description of what your role as an administrator is, because you, as well, really all three of you, but as administrators, you're the folks who keep this party rolling every single day of the year, 24 hours a day.
Kathleen, you want to go first? You
I
have
was
more.
going to let Brenda go first.
We're responsible for it's as is Ileana. We're responsible for just the day-to-day grind stuff, letting in members if anybody wants to be a member. I'm sure hopefully we'll see a increase in membership over the next few days. Checking over, approving any posts that are coming from people who are not pre-approved, making sure we're not getting spammed or anything that's unsuitable is coming in. And many of us are responsible for a long time. I did a good night post, and Ileana did a good morning post, and we still do a lot of fixture things. Every Monday, it's main character Monday, and we drop in and our main characters talk about what they're doing, and Ileana puts the post up, and I and Brenda, and we all come in and our main characters chat and that kind of thing. So we're responsible for, it's a lot of day-to-day working the format stuff, right, Brenda?
Yes, and it is nowadays with the spam and the bots, it's something we're trying to weed through some of that too. And I'd like to say, Ileana, to hear how you started that. Being in this since 2011, I started before I published. There was 20 books, and there like Joanna Penn, and there were Mark Dawson, and all these names, and there was so much online. My children's books are harder to market, harder to find groups, but I just fell in love with things like the Cozy Village and the Cozy Mystery Party, because when I started the Cozies, like you said, there wasn't, I don't know what year, you're back in 2020, and I guess that's when I kind of started the Cozy part too. It was such a welcoming feeling group that you started, and it has just the need for it. I didn't think back to the need. I just thought, well, they're doing this all over. But now it's interesting. I didn't realize, how long this has been going and taking it. So yeah, there's a lot online, but
there's a lot of groups. But what I've noticed is that they're either specific author or author focused, or there's one that's all about the parties. But they're really, as far as I know, there's not one that encompasses everything that we need as either a reader or an author.
Yeah, I think the group is so rounded. I agree. Yes.
I'm very curious about, because you had mentioned, Ileana, when you were like coming up with this idea, or you were searching for a group that fit your needs. Let's pretend that I am an author I'm new to the scene. I have no idea what I should even be looking for. What were the types of things that you were trying to seek out that you weren't finding in the groups that you were looking for? Because I think that is really telling as to there's so much that is thrown our way, especially when it comes to like marketing a book, like publishing a book, all of that stuff. Tell me a little bit about what you felt you needed as a new author, and then how maybe you guys then took those needs and created the Cozy Mystery Village to build upon that.
Well, more or less what I mentioned already, in terms of I started looking for an editor, and it was overwhelming, all the information out there. Well, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. The genre, I realized that most of the readers are all on Facebook. So based on that, I thought, okay, so if everybody's going to be there and I have to start marketing. I need to make it easy so I'm not all over the place, looking for all these different types of services that I need. And I did the research on Facebook. And again, there were several book cover designers that I was able to find. And I reached out to them individually and I said, I've got this group. I want you to promote your book covers. And we've got 3 or 4 that are constantly promoting. And that's what I ended up doing, besides actually reaching out to the specific authors. And I said, I want to make this a one-stop shop for everybody, where you can promote your work and your services if you have extra services. Will you join the village? And that's how it's grown slowly. And then now once a month, at the end of the month, last Friday of the month, we have the author takeover events. And we used to have it only during the day, and we've expanded now all the way into the evening. So we're constantly thinking of how we can help our authors as well as our readers.
Well, I just want to say, speaking of helping, we have a couple of our viewers chiming in here. Both, Sarah, I'm going to let you take the lead because I'm not.
Yes.
You do the introductions of our visitors so much better than I do.
No problem, JC. We have the wonderful Regina the Southernista saying, "Good afternoon, everyone." We have Susan Worrell saying, "Hello, all," and that she just joined the Cozy Mystery Village, and so did Regina. Awesome, you guys. You guys understand the assignment. So, folks, I very much appreciate the enthusiasm. I'm curious. So, you mentioned the author takeovers that you guys do. Brenda, can you share for us, like, what do you find makes a good author takeover? Because I think a lot of times, especially again to authors who may be new to the scene, they hear the word author takeover. They're like, okay, like, what should I share? What is good? What's good material for an author takeover?
This is a good question, because I fumbled through that a bit before. And Ileana has a email she sends out with good suggestions. And I found another way too is to follow in some other author takeovers. Like, a lot of times you open up with where the people are coming in from, with a colorful welcome, your introduction to yourself and where do you live. And then it's always fun to have questions for readers. It's not just about us promoting our writing, but it's interacting with the readers, where their comments come fast and furious, and we get to respond to them. And there's most often some sort of prize. It can be an ebook, a signed paperback, a little swag that you might want to give that encourages lots of participation too. And everything is posted ahead of time, so the flow goes real well. We can get in and, everything is scheduled. It goes smoothly. You just have your Facebook posts ready to go in, and it flies by. I know a lot of them are taking the 2 hours now. We used to do just an hour, and I think we're even seeing some 3-hour ones lately. And
Wow.
Eliana has introduced Zooms now for our group too, author takeover Zooms on Monday.
Nice.
Yeah.
The other thing I piggyback on what Brenda's been saying is it's really all about engagement. If you're an author working on doing a takeover, you want to think about those things that provide engagement. That is, putting up a synopsis of your book is lovely, but it doesn't provide, but nobody's probably, unless your book is about something that people are thinking about at this moment, isn't going to spark a lot of engagement. Whereas if you talk about the fact that there's a cat character who's a real pistol, and you have a picture of a cat, then, and say, tell me a crazy story about your cat, bingo. It's a question of getting people to engage, and that's really important, both for a successful author takeover and hopefully eventually for successful book sales, because people want to read people they have a relationship with. Yes. And reading is a very intimate thing, and you want to have at least a minimal relationship with the people you read. So.
And what's good about actually the author takeovers, also to continue with that train of thought, is that we encourage new authors to actually go on there and promote their books, especially if they're new and they're a little hesitant and they're not sure what to do. We really encourage them to take an opportunity of that, where they can actually speak to the one-on-one with the readers, from the comments, obviously.
Yeah. It's a very warm environment. It's a very safe and warm place. If you're a first-time author and you're a little scared about, oh my gosh, if I put myself out there, are they going to say horrible things about me? No, really, we're not.
No.
We're okay with us.
So, which I'd like to kind of flip the coin there to the other side. And what do you say to readers, or someone who's on Facebook? It's like, there are a lot of groups out there, and I've only got so much time. Not that the other groups aren't good, because hey, we're writers, we're readers, we love these groups. But what makes if each of you could maybe give us a little bit of and I'm going to ask you to go first, Brenda, what makes the Cozy Mystery Village special to somebody who's kind of looking to check it out?
Well, Ileana mentioned something before too. Not everybody checks in on comments and posts, but if you see the views we get of our what we put up, A lot of people use it as a shopping center, I think, in a way,
Okay.
not even just the services that, the Ileana allows to promote on there, but someone is always posting which books are free, and then they go on with the sales. The author can do that. And so people just browse it and use it that way. I think they can do the author takeovers and get the more intimate involvement with the author. But I think broadly, if I was just a reader of the genre, I just could look through there and find some wonderful things all the time, just to see authors, new authors, established authors. That's one thing as a reader, I would think it would be wonderful for them to check it out.
Okay. How about you, Ileana?
To follow with that, I think the other good thing about that, if you were a reader asking me why you should join, besides being able to get the referrals for new books and being able to talk to your favorite authors, there's also the opportunity to see where, for example, people like you have your channel. And if they want to see interviews from other authors, it's a great place where they can do it. So there's bloggers, like I said, and YouTubers that it expands, not just the village, but that's the resource where you would go to find it. So it's like I said, it's a one-stop shop. If you want to find out about anything, you go there first. And then you can actually have fun too.
Well, I tell you what, you mentioned one-stop shop and you mentioned fun. So I'm a kid of the 80s, so it sounds like, like going to the mall. So
It is.
It's just a nice piece. Ileana set the tone and set the pattern. And the villagers, that's what we call members, the villagers keep it that way. It is a nice, warm village. You don't have to worry about somebody jumping on you about some weird thing, or somebody spamming you and trying to get you, telling you they're from Reese Witherspoon's book club or some such nonsense. That's not us. We're all in this together, and we really take care of each other.
I love that sense of community, and the fact that, just how far the group has come since you started. I think when I remember when I joined, it was probably around 2,500 people. So to know that you are almost that 7,000 people that get exposed to, the whatever services are being showcased or the books that are being highlighted. What an incredible marketing opportunity for authors, and what a great shopping opportunity for readers. I wonder, and kind of as we begin to wind down our conversation, because I told you guys this was going to go by so quickly, what are, do you have any, I guess, what are your goals for the upcoming year, or are there any new engagement models that you guys are trying out, or is there something that you've been working on to kind of even level up the Cozy Mystery Village even more?
Anybody want to take that?
I was going to Liana just added that we just added the later in the day author takeovers, and that's on Friday evenings, and that's really a special new thing. And we're also going to be doing some Zooms. I think she's got more details on that.
Awesome.
And I think we're also trying to work with my main character, get the readers engaged. Again, that gives them an opportunity. Those are on every Monday, and we're trying to throw in some things to make them feel they can participate in that.
Yeah.
Not just the authors interacting kind of with each other.
And it's a bit of a learning curve, because we still occasionally have a new author who comes in and talks about, well, my main character does this, and it's lovely. Thank you for being here. But what we want is for you to talk in their voice.
Yes.
It's your chance to, and by the way, Sarah, come on over. And we want you to bring your main character. We want to hear what your main character is up to today, and it's in their voice.
That can be such a fun thing if we get that. Yeah.
I think that's where I think we need to figure out a way to get the villagers to understand that we want them to comment. We want them to engage. It's not just us, the authors, promoting our characters or our books. This is a fun way for them to actually imagine that our characters are real and they can talk to them. So
although I do think the readers enjoy the people who are readers only really do enjoy just watching us kind of let our hair down.
oh, then that's good then. Okay. Then that's
I think there's a certain amount of people who are very good at what they do, just letting their hair down and having fun. That's behind the scenes fun.
that's a good thing.
That does sound. JC and I, we got to step into our character's shoes a couple weeks ago when we did a play as our characters, and it's fun. I mean, it's so like once you're in that headspace, it's so fun. And I think that a lot of authors are a little bit hesitant to maybe do that level of pretend, but I mean, that's what we're doing when we're writing, and it's like. It's definitely something that I love to do, and I think that it's such a great idea. So I am excited to see kind of the reader engagement spark from Main Character Monday.
Sarah, can I ask you something? Did you film this play that you did?
We did. Yes, it is on our YouTube page. You can check it out. It is called Killer Script, and it was written by our fellow Cozy Mystery Crew author Patricia Sargent. And I don't know how she did it, because it's like she took all of our characters and put them into a play together, and it was wild. It was so much fun. She did such a phenomenal job. So yeah, check it out. But
so is that
guys,
something you can actually post in the village?
Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah, we'd be happy to.
That would be amazing.
Perfect. Yes. Well, thank you for letting us do that. That's see, you guys, that's what the magic of the Cozy Mystery Village is. It's open, it's welcoming, it's celebrating everything that the authors and readers alike are doing.
There's also a rumor that I'm not going to confirm or deny that the reason Sarah's hair got so dark is because she fell in love with her character so much, who had dark hair. She said, "I'm going to go brunette now." So.
I did. I was looking at our Zoom window, being like, oh, because I had a wig on for the performance, and I was like, wow, like I like that. Like, who's that person with the brown hair? Oh, it's me. So yes. But enough about me. I want to talk a little bit more about you guys one more time, because we are winding down here on our moment together. But outside of the Cozy Mystery Village, if folks want to sign up for your newsletter or head to your website, stay connected with you on other platforms that aren't Facebook, where's the best place for folks to find you? I don't talk all at once.
Yeah, it's always Author Central on Amazon to find all of the books, even though whether we do it. And mine is under my name, Brenda Felber, and under Suzanne Bolden. My website is brendafelber.com or suzannebolden.com, and all the newsletter stuff and sign up and whatnot is in there.
Perfect.
Okay.
All things me are at KathleenMarkleCalb.com. And that's also Nikki Knight. Nikki Knight is my alter ego who writes Grace the Hit Mom and the Vermont books. And you can also get me on Amazon Author Central for either of those.
Perfect.
For me, same thing on Amazon. And then on my site is I for Ileana, M for Munoz, Renfro. So IamRenfro.com. And there's where I offer all my additional services, which is the book covers and the formatting. And I also have an Etsy store where I do a lot of digital creations and stuff. So you can find out all that information there. I do bookmarks and swags for authors and stuff.
And of course, everybody can head to the Cozy Mystery Village on Facebook. We'll have the link to the group in our show notes for today's episode. As per tradition here at A Bookish Moment, we always like to learn a little bit more about our authors by knowing what they're reading, listening to, watching, anything that you guys have to recommend at the moment. Doesn't have to be cozy. It doesn't have to be a book. It will just kind of go in a quick round robin motion here with Kathleen starting first. Any recommendations that we can add to our entertainment lists?
Judy's biography by Mark Oppenheimer is a great read.
Ooh.
And I also recommend, I know a lot of people are saying this, but I'm on the bandwagon too, The Pit. It's a hard watch. not an easy watch. It's a hard
Mhm.
watch, and especially if you've had family health issues. But we've had health crises in my family, and I can't turn away from it. It's phenomenal.
Okay.
We've
Thank you.
definitely, I think The Pit has been moved up to the top of my watch list because of so many people recommending it here. So if it has your endorsement, Kathleen, that is good to know. Brenda, what about you?
Well, I'm actually reading a Kristen Hanna book, The Firefly Girls, which I didn't read back in the day and haven't seen the movie yet. And as far as television, we do a lot of YouTube travel kind of shows.
Oh, nice.
Vicariously, we're traveling to these places. But the fictional one we're watching now is The Madison, one of the Taylor Sheridan shows.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Ileana.
I started to read the Scarpetta books again from Patricia Cornwell because
Yep. Mhm.
it's now a new series. So
Yes.
I decided I wanted to read the books again, which I had read a long time ago,
Mhm.
and then I'll be watching that. So
Perfect.
I'm looking forward to that. I've heard it's really good.
And JC, are you able to watch anything, listen to anything as you're
You know,
recovering?
I take my glasses off and I put the e-reader right up here close to my one good eye, and I am reading All This Can Be Yours, one of Hank Philippi Ryan's newest offerings. Since Sarah, you and I are going to be chatting with her and Alan Orloff and folks at Malice Domestic. So it's a thriller. I normally don't do thrillers, but Hank is an amazing author, and if she can get me to read thrillers, that just tells you right there, how amazing she is. What do you got, Sarah?
So we started watching the new, it's called Jury Duty Presents Company Retreat. I don't know if you guys have heard of Jury Duty, where it's a fake courtroom and like all the people involved are fake except for one person. And the first season was so hilarious with it being like a jury going through the process of listening to a trial. This season we were a little iffy about because it's like, is it going to be as magical as the first was? But I'm honestly enjoying it a little bit more because it's this temp guy who gets hired to work at a company retreat. And oh my God, he is just like the sweetest human being I've ever come across. I was like, protect him at all costs. So it's a worthy successor to Jury Duty. And speaking really quickly of Malice, we have Susan in the chat saying, Kathleen, looking forward to seeing you at Malice. So you will have some fans waiting for you there. Are Brenda and Ileana, are either of you heading to Malice this year?
No.
Okay.
Not
All
this
right.
year.
Well, hopefully we'll get to cross paths at some other time. If we don't see you on in the Cozy Mystery Village, which we are so grateful for, we really appreciate that you all came here to share the work that you put in. I can't imagine how much work you do. I think about all the work that we do for this show and then probably multiply it by 7 because you're doing it 7 days a week. And I just tip my hat to you guys. It's such a wonderful service that you're offering for the cozy community. And we really, really appreciate you taking the time to share your experiences with us and to be with us here today on the show. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Just to clarify here real quick, when Sarah said all the work that we put into a book, Bookish Time TV, it's all the work that Sarah puts into it. Y'all know I'm just here for the ride. So credit where credit's due.
Thank you. You are very good about giving that, JC. But I like to talk in the royal we, so it all goes. Anything goes. So again, you guys, thank you so much. This was delightful. To our wonderful audience members who joined us here live, we really, really appreciate you. To folks watching after the fact, we are very, very grateful to have your view. If you could like and subscribe to our channel, we are inching our way towards our 1,000 subscriber goal, and very much appreciate all of the help that we can get. But until we see each other next time, stay bookish, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.